Hello again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a flip through of the book Goddesses by Marty. I recently bought this book. It's a Dover publication. The paper is thin, so probably just your average paper, probably similar to CreateSpace or Amazon paper. There are 30 detailed and ready to color illustrations, and it goes through the various mythology around the world. It starts off with Celt mythology. This is Arian Hod, a Celtic moon goddess whose name means silver wheel. And each page has a small little write-up on each goddess. Over here we have the Celtic mythology's loving protector of horses, donkeys and mules, Epona. Over here is Freya. I think the best bet for this book is probably just sticking to colored pencil. The paper seems too thin to use on markers or any watercolor on it. I think you would bleed through to the back quite quickly, so my personal opinion would be to just stick with pencils for these ones. This is Idun, the Norse goddess of youth and spring, followed by the Norse goddess Frigg, who is the wife of the all-powerful Odin. Then we move into Egyptian mythology. This one here is Bastet, followed by the Egyptian goddess Isis. With it being Egyptian mythology, you will find that the color palette will be quite straightforward, especially if you stick to the ancient Egyptian colors. So you could Google places like King Tutankhamun, his tomb, and there's a lot of ancient hieroglyphs that still are vibrant colors and available when you go and visit King Tutankhamun's tomb. I went there in 2009 with my husband, and it was some of the most exquisite hieroglyphs I'd ever seen. The bright blues, bright reds, bright golds, everything was really bright. I think also green. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to take photos because the flash from the camera would damage the artwork. But I'm sure that, you know, if you go onto Google, especially your museums, you might find some pictures there, and you could use that as a color palette. Then we move on to Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess of moral law. Pomona is the Roman goddess of abundance and agriculture. So what the ancient Romans did is they decided they liked the Greek culture and mythology and their way of doing things. So they took the Greek gods and gave them Roman names. And they also did similar things with some of the artwork that came out of Greece, including like the statues. So sculpted statues seem to actually be birthed or born out of ancient Greece. And the Romans quite liked that idea, so they then brought in their own artists and started to create statues as well. So this is the Roman goddess Venus, who is associated with love, beauty, and vineyards. Then we have Diana, the Roman hunting goddess. But the illustrations are really, really beautiful, and I think quite straightforward. Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, followed by the Greek goddess Eos, and Athena, Gaia. Some very beautiful images. Then we move into Mayan mythology. So this is the Mayan goddess Ixchel. So she's a protector of mothers and children and sends rain. Then you have Pachamama, which is an Incan goddess. Then here is an Aztec goddess, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the name because it looks really complicated, and I don't want to try and not pronounce it properly. Then we have the Sumerian goddess Inanna. I mean, Sumerian civilization was amongst the first civilizations. It was during the Mesopotamia area, geographically, and the Sumerians were also the civilization that invented the wheel, if I'm not mistaken, and they were, I think, one of the first civilizations to also have a written language. Then we have Native American mythology, so this is the white buffalo woman. And then we move into West African mythology, and this is the goddess of love and fresh water, Oshun. Followed by Mawu, the creator of earth and all things on it. I quite like that in the West African mythology, the creator of the earth is a woman. And I like the change from, a masculine take to a more feminine take. Then we have the Zulu fertility goddess Mbabwa Mwana Mwaresa. Then we move into the Buddhist goddess of compassion, Huan Yin. And then we have the Chinese goddess of immortality and femininity, Shi Wang Mu. I found this book actually has quite a few pages on Japanese mythology. So for instance, here is the Japanese sun goddess Amaterasu, and over here the Japanese goddess Konohana Sakuya. We move to Hindu goddess Saraswati. She's a goddess of art, music, learning and wisdom. Followed by Lakshmi, which is a goddess of wealth and all forms of prosperity. And we end with the Tibetan goddess Tara, who has a dual personality represented by the colors white and green. So there's your color palette. You could do half of her green, half of her white, or you could have white and green woven around throughout the page. There's many options. And that is it. Goddesses by Marty Noble. Thank you so much for watching this flip through. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment below, and I will see you in my next videos. Take care.